Hello, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the pumpkin patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Kloee Taylor, and I believe that on this channel we have one of the most cozy, vibey, autumnal corners of the internet. So if you like my style, you like the way that I read, you like what we do here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and become a member of the pumpkin patch. So I'm very excited today, my pumpkins, because this video is actually sponsored by Scentbird. And I just want to take a moment to talk a little bit more about them. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service. You choose a new designer fragrance to try out every month for just $17. And I was really excited to work with them. I've mentioned before that it took me a really long time to buy myself a full bottle of perfume at full price. Like literally, I just talked about this in a monthly favorites video that went out, I think last month. So check this out. When you roll this up, you can actually take it out, and this is the vial that you get inside. Now, I have used this, so there is a little bit more space in it. This is one of my favorites that I've received, so that's why this one doesn't look like it's as full, because I've been using it. But you get like a very decent amount. It is a 30-day supply, and it's travel size, which is fantastic. You choose from over 600 designer brands with top perfumes from Prada, Versace, as well as independent labels like Skylar, Heretic, and Confessions of a Rebel. So you'll definitely be able to find a scent that you love and wear it for a while without having to commit to a full-size bottle. This month I received Pure Vanilla by La Vanilla and Cypress and Oak by Scents of Woods. I personally prefer the bottle from Pure Vanilla. It has a very nice vanilla scent without being too sweet. It's a nice subtle floral scent where I normally hate a lot of super flowery scents. If y'all have been on my channel a long time, you know that I am really about like the musky, foresty vibes, but this one has a really nice floral note to it that I enjoy. My husband definitely preferred the Cypress and Oak as it has cypress oil, cedar, and balsam in it, and that man loves to smell like trees. We also talked about that recently on my channel, that he is a big fan of the tree smells. It was also really nice that the bottles themselves aren't gendered in any obvious way, and they stock a lot of unisex scents as well. As an offer to all of my viewers, Scentbird is actually offering a discount off your first month subscription. Make sure to click the link below using my code KHLOE55, that's KLOEE 55, for 55% off your first month at Scentbird. That's only about $8 for your first month. I also have really exciting news that Scentbird is available in Canada. I know a lot of y'all that are in different areas that are just outside of the US are always asking me about stuff like that. So they're also available in Canada. Thank you again, Scentbird, for sponsoring today's video. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this reading. So for the selectors, you'll notice that there are different numbers here, and we also have different vials from Scentbird. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each scent because I do feel like that will also help you to decide, maybe this is something that is a signal for you. So the whole intention for this reading in particular is what the signs and synchronicities that you are currently seeing or feeling, what they actually mean. A lot of you come to me with this question, and we're going to get to the bottom of it today. So one of these numbers, the 88, the 1111, 333, or 1234, might be numbers that you've been seeing around lately. You can also check the timestamps for the different piles to see if any of your lucky numbers are present there. But let's go ahead and I'm going to tell you one by one what we have here. So 88, this one is going to be pile number 1. And this scent here is actually Skylar's Honeysuckle Dream. The notes of this scent are pear leaves, honeysuckle, and lily. So maybe any of those might be a vibe for you. With pile number 2, we have the 1111 pile, and this is actually the La Vanilla Pure Vanilla scent. This has really strong Madagascar vanilla, tonka bean, and heliotrope. I'm not exactly sure how to say it, so apologies if I'm mispronouncing here, but just like a very big vanilla smell. So maybe you're attracted to those kinds of scents. And then 333 for pile number 3 here is Confessions of a Rebel Bite Me. That's what it's called. And the scents are strawberry, red apple, vanilla orchid, jasmine, and golden rum. So if you like those kinds of scents, that also might be a telltale sign that that is your pile. And then finally, pile number 4, we have 1234 as the number selector. And we also have cypress oil, fir balsam, cedar wood amber, and dark moss. So excuse me, oak moss. So I'm going to give you a few moments to sit with these piles with some meditation music and decide which pile is for you. Maybe you already knew right off the bat, but I'm going to give you a little extra time to just kind of sit with them. And then we're going to get exactly into what these signs and synchronicities are trying to tell you. All right, pile number 1. If you chose number 88 and the green vial holder here, that is the Skylar Honeysuckle Dream perfume, then this is going to be what the signs and synchronicities are trying to tell you. Now, I wasn't going to include this in every reading, but I felt like yours was kind of specific, so I decided to include it. So this is just the card that comes with the fragrance. And it literally has a little description, and it says, a scent that embodies the unforgettable moment when you walk by fresh blooms on your morning stroll. When you begin your day with a scent that is beautiful and fresh with the floral notes of sweet honeysuckle and blooming lilies, Honeysuckle Dream is a crisp fragrance that exudes optimism, inspired by the fragrant mornings of spring. So right off the bat, even if you chose just the scent, like maybe that was your deciding factor, like you liked the green container or something, I would say that Spirit is reminding you to remain optimistic about your current situation. And I also say that because it felt very pointed in the sense that you have the Sun card as a part of your reading. Now, we have more cards to get to as well. These are just the introductory ones here. But the Sun card is also about holding optimism, holding joy, feeling the feelings of joy. And I also see that you have a couple of 2s. So you have the 2 of Wands, the 2 of Pentacles, the 4 of Wands, and then the Princess of Swords. So Spirit is saying to me that You might find that mentally as of late, maybe you've been feeling a little bit drained or a little bit downtrodden. Something about like your mind has just kind of been keeping you in this loop, and you've been on like the same track basically with this like Two of Pentacles. That's really what I was getting with this infinity symbol. It's like you've been on the same track, and Spirit is trying to remind you with signs, with synchronicities. Maybe 88 you've been seeing a lot, or even 888 or quadruple eights. I always like to remind people that 88 seems like a sign that's coming out for them specifically. 88s are not common. Like seeing 1111, the clock strikes 1111 twice a day if you're using a non-military time format. And so like that's maybe a little bit more common, but 88, you don't ever see that on a clock unless the clock is broken, or sometimes like if a clock is new, it'll flash like eights. But I find that 88 is not as common as some of the other numbers. Actually, I would argue that all of the other numbers that were selectors, 88 is more rare. So you might find that when you see this 88 or collection of eights, it seems like almost too specific, because you don't even have the opportunity to catch it on a clock, which is where a lot of us catch angel numbers, right? So Spirit is really trying to get your attention with this, because you're seeing it in like, maybe even when you go to like pay a check, the end will end in 88 or something. You know, Spirit is really trying to get your attention that you don't have to sit in these feelings of suffering, of letting your mind just kind of run on a racetrack all of the time. You are allowed to create more balance and more of what you want. And that's also what the Two of Wands is very much about, is creating more of what you want. I would also like to point out that symbolically with this Two of Pentacles, right, we have this infinity loop, like we're just stuck in a loop. But if you look at the Two of Wands, there are two roads running parallel into like basically off into like destiny, on like they're just going straight out. And I feel like this is also a very big symbol of about freeing your mind and letting yourself feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more stable, and a little bit more like literally bringing the feelings of joy back into your reality. That is what this is trying to show to you. It is a reminder that, hey, like, maybe you just had a negative thought like whip past your mind. This is a moment to remind you, hey, catch that thought in action. And this might sound really nuts if you're not somebody that pays a lot of attention. I do feel like it takes a certain amount of awareness to be prepared to actually monitor your own thoughts or to pay attention to them as an observer. We talk about this a lot in Buddhist teachings, in any kind of meditative teaching. We're noticing how the mind thinks, because we are just the observer. We are not always the person that is just thinking through every single thought. So what Spirit is trying to remind you with this is that every time one of those thoughts whips past you, I'm not good enough. Why me? Poor me. I'm getting like a lot of examples at once, because I think a lot of you chose this pile, but Spirit is asking you to pay attention and to correct that thought. So much so that it becomes such a habit that you will not let a thought past your awareness that says anything on the contrary. And this is not me telling you to get involved in like toxic positivity, to just put like a pretty bow on your entire life. There is a level of internal work that kind of has to be done before we can even get to this place where we feel confident in letting ourselves do this kind of work. But Spirit wants you to know that with these signs and synchronicities, you were drawn to this reading because you are meant to know that you can, in fact, change your situation. You are not left to just continue to surrender to all of the pitfalls of life and just be stuck there. You are meant to create changes. You are meant to experience positivity, optimism. You are meant to feel the sun's beautiful rays shine down upon you and feel good about that. So That's what I'm getting immediately first. Also, if you feel like there has been like some instability in your life, Spirit is saying that the 88 is a promise, or also it could have been anything from the sense, things like that. It is a promise to you that life is about to get so much richer and to pay attention to that. So we also have for you Pisces. We have Virgo, Pisces, sensitize, Virgo, digest, and Mars motion with the sword. Oh my gosh. Okay. You are literally being asked to be an active participant. I feel like there's a potentiality that some of you that chose this pile have felt like life has just been happening and you have not felt like an active participant in it. And this is normal. I want to assure you, if you're feeling this way, you're not alone. Other people feel this way. It is quite common to feel this way. And I'm not saying that to try to insinuate that it can't be different or you can't become more engaged. I just want you to know that you're not alone, because oftentimes feelings like this can feel very lonely, like nobody understands. And Spirit is bringing you here because you are meant to start to become more of an active participant in your mind, so much so that you start to create forward momentum in your life and change the very fabrics of your own destiny. And with Pisces and Virgo here, I feel like these are almost coming out as more practical advice as to why you keep seeing this synchronicity. It's that, number one, you are very sensitive and perceptive, and this is something to be celebrated. I will always tell you that on my channel, because sensitivity is not something to be demonized ever. If we actually think about what being sensitive means, if back when we were doing hunter gathering, having a sensitive person in your party, like out hunting and gathering, would have been so, for lack of better terms here, fucking beneficial. It would have been such a good thing to experience that, because having that kind of person with you, you know, if they hear a snap of a twig in the woods, they're going to be alert and be able to tell the rest of the party, you know, gear up for battle or let's get the heck out of here. So it's okay to be sensitive. It's actually something that is extremely valuable. In today's world, maybe we don't see that as much. I mean, I like to think that all of us that are here are very acute and aware and open to sensitivity, because even reading tarot cards is a very sensitive, to be able to divine is a very sensitive thing, right? You have to be able to be more open and receptive and sensitive to do it. So this is just a reminder that your sensitivities are real, and it's not just, oh, that's a coincidence. You are meant to be made aware that you're sensitive to these signs on purpose. And with Virgo digest, Spirit is also reminding you that where you feel worry, where you feel discontent, maybe in the body somewhere, there's usually a body correspondence when you feel a certain way. Spirit is reminding you that this is also a sign. Maybe we don't know how to move that energy around or out of us yet, but this is also a sign. When our body manifests a feeling like that, it's telling us this for a reason. It's bringing this to our attention for a reason. And I'm not talking about like having some kind of illness. You know, I'm not a doctor. I don't work in that kind of fashion or predict in that kind of fashion. I don't think any tarot card reader typically does. But with this coming up, this is a reminder that how your body feels is a sign too. And it's okay to be sensitive to that. It doesn't have to mean that something is terribly wrong. It could actually mean that something is terribly right and you're being notified for a reason. You know, it's almost like when you're about to go get into a car with somebody and something inside of you doesn't really feel like it's the right move, so you decide not to, right? Or gosh, we just talked about this on the podcast, actually, I think last week, maybe the week before. We were talking about comfort zones and feeling comfortable in your comfort zone. And then going just beyond that is safe comfortability. And then when we get beyond safe comfortability, we get into dangerous uncomfortability. And dangerous uncomfortability is where we're just scared and in some kind of fight or flight response. Where when we are in safe uncomfortability, that is where growth actually happens. So for you, maybe the signs that are coming from your body, whether there's ease in your body or there is feelings of fear that sit right in your gut or at the top of your gut, sometimes in the heart, sometimes even in the throat, or it's different for everybody. I find that it's most common in the lower stomach or upper stomach, but some people feel it in their heart or their throat, or even up higher in the mind, right where that third eye is, or up into the crown, right? There's a correspondence there. Your attention is being pulled there for a reason. Now, Spirit is also saying that a couple of the things that you need right now are rest and creativity. And this is something that maybe you always put this stuff off so that you can go and do other things, right? Or so you can work, so you can hustle, so you can be a functioning member of society instead of resting or creating. Or maybe there's something about you feel afraid of just letting yourself do these two things. Like you feel very guilty. And I just want to offer pile number one that if this is something you feel and Spirit is actually asking you to do these things, I want to say it's in the book. It's in Ceremony by Brianna Weist, which we actually read in like book club form for my Patreon last month. We read Ceremony together. And in this book, there is a passage that she talks about in order to feel good. If you're somebody who does not often feel good, you have to let yourself exist in heavenly states more and more often, even if it doesn't feel right at first. And so this is about making rest and creativity a priority for you right now. Even if it feels a little bit uncomfortable or a little bit guilty to do it, eventually it will become comfortable if you take action towards it. Because you're also, remember, you got Mars. You're being asked to take an inspired action towards this. So we also have for you romance, which says, romance is a sacred power. Let it come to me this hour. And I don't think this is about like actual romance with another person. Just based on your entire reading, I don't really see that personally. What I do see is actually romanticizing your life, letting life be a gift to you, making love to life. And this is not something, if you have been feeling really bad and like trapped lately, which as we talked about earlier might be something that you're experiencing, this can be really hard. It feels guilty sometimes to even romanticize life or make life into something more beautiful. But again, you have to let yourself exist in these heavenly states more and more frequently, because that is how you will actually get past the discomfort. It's almost like when people ask me all the time, how do I get comfortable reading tarot cards on YouTube? It's so uncomfortable. You have to do it over and over and over before it gets comfortable. And this is the same. Creating these changes in your life that I really get the sense that you very much want. You have to start creating repetition in them. And it is going to be hard at first. This isn't going to be easy at first. And Spirit is here to remind you of that it's going to take time for your digestive system to get on board with it. It's going to take time for your sensitivities to be okay with it. It's going to take time for you to stop taking so much forward action, but just enough to let yourself create and relax. Because I would actually argue that creative energy, it can be very action oriented depending on what you're doing, but creativity can also be one of the most relaxing things that you do. It depends on the type of creation. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, I don't think being creative and resting are the same thing, because there's usually some kind of forward momentum in creativity. This is why I do think it's very important to differentiate between playing and resting as well, because when you're resting, you should not be playing. And when you're playing, it's not about resting. We actually need both. I know oftentimes people will put those in the same category, like, oh, take a vacation, but then like your whole vacation, you're just doing a bunch of stuff. It's very valuable to actually rest during vacation, but also find times to play, right? It's good to differentiate those things. I don't know why that came out of this reading just now, but some of y'all needed to hear it. I'm also seeing that number 23 might be a significant number for you. 22 as well. Those just might be numbers that speak to you because they're here. I also have the card of healing. Candle flame, burn this hour, bring to me your healing power. So you're actually on a journey of self-actualizing and self-healing. And in order to continue to do this, to create this forward momentum in really creating yourself into being in this new way, you have to start showing up for it. That's really the biggest thing I'm getting is Spirit is saying that through these signs and synchronicities, not only are you drawing into becoming this new version of self, but it's almost like you're being fed like the breadcrumbs on exactly how to do it. I don't know if recently you maybe like asked or like talked to your spirit guides, talk to God, talk to the universe. Maybe you had a little pep talk with your friends, the trees. There's something about like you asking, and this is you actually being led through receiving is a big thing. So and that's so funny that that would come up because I swear to you, I do not look at these cards ahead of time. We have Connect to Source, which this card actually has candle wax on it because I had a candle wax explosion the last time I had these cards out. Everything's fine. Just my desk had a minor casualty, but this says connect to source, go within to discover what needs to be done. Create the shift required to attract what you want. So listen, pile number one. I don't know who of you, it might not be every single one of you, but there's somebody here that this is going to be a little bit more specific. It might be a couple of you, but why do you think that you're beyond help? Why do you have an inherent belief? This is not an actual question. This is a rhetorical question to make you aware of what you're doing to yourself. Why do you think that you're beyond help? Why do you think that you have the answer for everything? There's something here about you feeling like you have the answers for everything in your life, and you actually need to rely a little bit more on your faith, whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be a faith in God. It can be, if that's what you prefer. It can be the earth. It can be the universe. It can be your highest self, right? It's whatever feels right for you. I know currently in today's world, it can be a little bit confusing to navigate spirituality because there are so many options. But the beautiful thing about that is it's not about what everybody else is doing. It's about whatever you are doing that is working for you. And you don't have to explain it to anybody else either. But I got this very deep, sad feeling when I pulled this card out that you don't feel like you're worthy to connect to source. Like other people are allowed to do it and they're allowed to feel fulfilled, but you are for some reason beyond help. And you're not. You're actually being asked within this reading to turn towards your faith, to turn towards spirituality. You're being notified in this way with this synchronicity, with this reading, that you are not beyond help, that you actually can receive divine guidance to make shifts and changes. You don't have it all figured out. Maybe you've read 1,000 self-help books and you feel like you know everything. Maybe you've been through 25 different therapists and nobody ever helped. That doesn't mean that you are beyond help. That means that you just haven't found the right resource yet. And what a beautiful day and age we live in, that we have countless resources available to us. We just have to start listening to ourselves and where we are being led. And that can be one of the hardest tasks of them all. I would also say that if you're somebody that finds it hard to stop and listen to yourself, follow that resistance. You're feeling resistance for a reason, probably because it's the thing that you're meant to do a little bit more. So we also have every step counts. There is an advantage to taking things slowly. Breathe deeply and fully as you consider your options. So as we were talking about here, you have options available to you. Your journey is not for somebody else. It's for you. You don't need to make it pretty or make it sound a certain way so that other people will be impressed with what you're doing. This is about your journey with yourself and helping yourself, but also allowing divinity to help you. Because I really get the sense that internally, especially mentally, now please remember, I am not a therapist. I am not a licensed practitioner and do not take my readings in place of that. I might be really well versed in psychology, but I am not a practitioner and I am not a licensed therapist. But with that Princess of Swords, especially even just the imagery, I feel like mentally you have been very challenged lately. And maybe you've had a lot of really dark thoughts coming over you, but it's only you that is able to shed light on them, in whatever capacity that means. And every step in that direction counts for something. Even if you have to take it extremely slow, even if you have to treat yourself like the most precious baby on the planet. And I say baby with love, not like, oh, you're being such a baby. No, baby with love. Like sometimes we need to do that. We need to nurture ourselves in that way. And you're being very called to that place. You're very sensitive, right? And again, I say that with love, not with derogatory intention at all, since being sensitive is a gift. But you're very sensitive. And because of that, your mind, I feel like, might waver a lot. And you are not beyond being helped. You are not beyond getting better. You are not beyond feeling the feelings of joy. And the thoughts in your head that tell you that you are, I have to tell you, they are the thief of joy. They will lie to you. Your own thoughts will lie to you. Take it from somebody who's been there. Your own thoughts will lie to you about what the future will be like. The future can always be brighter and different. And then the last few cards I have for you are more numbers. So these might just be more specific numbers. They could be like age numbers, date numbers that are specific to you. I'm just going to read each one to you. So we have number 20. I am harmonious. You relate to others on an almost cosmic level. You are dedicated to building harmonious relationships of all kinds. You have the ability to persuade others to your point of view by using gentle means. We also have number 5, I am adaptable. Flexibility is your forte. When life throws you a curveball, you can easily adapt to new circumstances and find excitement in the unexpected change. Be brave and bold in your endeavors. So maybe this is something you don't feel like you currently have, is this adaptability. And Spirit is saying that you can have it. You just need to call it in. Maybe even start using this affirmation. And then we have number 16, I am perceptive. You have an inquisitive mind that allows you to uncover important truths. You have a special ability to read into other people's feelings, a wisdom seeker, and your angels ask to share your knowledge for the benefit of others. Wow. So even what you're experiencing now, you're experiencing these things because eventually this is going to be something that helps others. You're going to be so well versed and perceptive in knowing that you're going to help other people get out of a similar situation. So that is what I have for you, pile number 1. I hope this reading helps you out. I hope you'll check out Scentbird and use my code. Thank you so much again to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. And I do want to let those of you know that are unaware, I do have a Patreon listed down below where you get exclusive pick-a-cards. We do a book club. We're going to be opening a Discord it might already be open by the time this video is out. Actually, that will also be available to public, but if you're on the Patreon, you get like secret little extra things inside the Discord. So definitely check it out. We have such a beautiful, tight-knit community there. We're doing a Summerween event on July 31st, where we're actually going to get together in a call and do a project together, just like some art projects together. I'm really excited. So if you want to like jump in and actually hang out with me one-on-one or one on however many of us are there, be sure to join the Patreon. Make sure you check the tiers for which one, but I would love to have you as part of that community. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, I do have spots available right now. You can book on KhloeTaylor.com. That is the only place you can ever book a reading with me. If you ever see somebody soliciting on Instagram, TikTok, or any social media place, please know that it's not me. Always check for my username, which is Kloee Taylor. That's exactly how it is here. No underscores, no extra letters. These imposter accounts are out of control, but I will never personally solicit you for a reading. You can only book through KhloeTaylor.com. So definitely check that out if you would like a personal reading with me. I actually just added a few more birth charts in as well, which I don't do those very frequently. So if you're wanting a birth chart, make sure you get your hands on one. And my podcast, Divine Authenticity, we put out new episodes every single Tuesday. Don't forget to check that out as well. We're doing a little fall and July mood over there. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, I'm at Kloee Taylor, on Twitter as well, but I don't really use it as much, but I'm at Kloee Taylor. I'd love to have you. And last but certainly not least, if you enjoyed this reading and it helped you in some way, I do accept tips for my readings, and I do have my wish list available to you. Never an expectation, ever, 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 but my wish list is available down below, and I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal available to you if you would like to tip me for my readings. It certainly helps me out. I'm able to purchase more decks for the channel through that. Sometimes y'all actually send me decks. This one up here, our wonderful friend here, Kino Tarot, actually sent this deck to me, this Mystic Mondays one. So thank you so much, Kino. And thank you to those of you that do use those things. That's very kind of you, and I really appreciate it. But in any case, I love you so much, Pumpkin. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, week, month, etc. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Bye. Hello there, pile number 2. If you chose the 1111 or the La Vanilla, pure vanilla scent, this is going to be your reading. So we have some other cards that we'll get to in a little bit, but just starting out, the very, very, very loud and clear message is that the signs that you keep seeing, and this is very traditional of the number 1, which 1111, it's literally 4 ones, is very traditional of the number 1. Is you are closing out a chapter of your life and you need to let it end so that a new one can be born. And I say that because you have the World, the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, and then a couple others that we'll talk about in a second. I want to focus on these 3 cards first because 10s are completions. 10s are endings, because 10... we don't, as Aso Tarot would say, we don't do normal math on this channel. So 10s are actually meant to convert down to 1. And so 10s are endings, but also technically beginnings. That is very typical of a 10, is to convert into a 1, and it's an ending and a beginning. And the reason I also bring this up is because the World here on the end, on the far left over here, this card is also about an ending and a beginning. The World card is the final card in the major arcana in tarot, and that is what it talks most about, is an ending or a beginning that is taking place in your life. So a chapter closing out and a new one starting. So either you've reached some kind of grand culmination, or you are about to completely shift the way that you have been doing things in your life. Now, the 1111 keeps showing up also as the Seven of Pentacles and the Hanged Woman. And these two cards, the Hanged Woman is about perspective. It's about pausing to gain a new perspective. But the interesting thing that I'm seeing here is that the Seven of Pentacles, this to me is about stopping and considering staying on the current path that you're on. And Spirit is telling us loud and clear that every time you're seeing this 1111, this should be telling you that change. It is time for change. It is time for a new way of being, a new way of thinking, a new way of doing things. So let's go ahead and pull some more cards out. So we have Aquarius Collaborate. We have First House Arrival. And we have Ascendant Entrance. So this is really interesting to me because both the first house and the ascendant in somebody's astrological chart, which yours, both of these cards talk about the first house because your ascendant sign is always in your first house. That is traditional astrology. But this is literally about rising to your fullest potential and actually letting yourself not only alchemize your past, but also nurture yourself. And I also think that this is about letting the universe nurture you. And I do just want to stop and pause for a moment and say that I'm so sorry if you hear any noises right now. My husband is cleaning the kitchen very lovingly, and I do hear a lot of silverware being moved around. So I do apologize if that's getting into the microphone. Maybe that's a symbol for some of y'all as well, that like rattling dishes, maybe that means something for you and that's why it's coming up. But these two things are about your highest expression of self. The rising sign, the first house, or the ascendant, all the same. It was what was on the horizon at the minute you were born. And so if we think about that for a moment, it's like one of the brightest, most important key aspects of your astrological chart and your own personal makeup. So this to me is really highlighting for you your sense of self, your ability to be authentic, your ability to be yourself, and to move in a direction that feels very in alignment. Not to mention the first house and ascendant 1111. Once again, we're calling back to the number 1. So and literally 1111 is just a collection of ones, as we've already discussed. So yours in particular, very, very, very pointed and specific. It's literally about you trusting that oh my gosh, and there's a number 11 right here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shout in your ears. I didn't notice that when I first put it down, but there's also an 11 right here on this Aquarius card. Oh my gosh. So many synchronicities. You're literally getting signs and synchronicities in your own reading, but so many ones. So we also have for you the card of ideation and the card of energy. So ideation and energy, I first want to point out to you that both of these cards are bright red, as you can tell. And the signs and synchronicities that you're receiving are, first of all, definitely check in with your root chakra. Your root chakra is the chakra that sits at the base of the spine. Oh, my Lanta. I'm sorry. You are getting ridiculous amounts of signs in your reading. Did not happen in pile number 1. I just turned to look out my window. I don't even know why. I don't face my window in my office anymore. I moved my room around and there was a squirrel right at the perfect moment that like scuttled across this area just beyond my parking lot that's out here. And I caught it randomly. So squirrels might also be a big sign or a token to you that tie this reading back to you. If you see a lot of squirrels, it doesn't have to be actual squirrels. It can be like pictures of squirrels, seeing them, images of them in different places. But in any case, that was so crazy. Checking in with your root chakra. This is the chakra that is at the base of the spine. And if we feel like we are constantly in a state of survival, the root chakra is going to be really, really, really imbalanced. So just check in there because this is where our energy starts, right? Is at that base of the spine. And ideation, which is also a very red card, this is about how we identify with ourselves. So the new chapter that you are starting is all about how you are telling the story of yourself, how you present yourself to other people. And the perfect thing that always comes to my mind when I think about our own personal ideation of who we are, if we're looking to start over, is I'm always going to recommend this. If you haven't read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, it's a great book. I want to say it was a New York Times bestseller. That's not why I read it. I think I read that book actually this year. It might have been the top of last year. One of the two. I read it more recently, like within the last year and a half or so. And in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, he gives the example of somebody who is trying to change from being a smoker to not smoking. And I think I've told this story before, but it's coming up again. So I'm going to share it again with you. And if you've heard this before on my channel, Spirit is literally telling you about it again because you need to hear it again. So in this book, James Clear talks about how, let's say that person A is a smoker and then person B is a smoker. And when person A is asked, hey, would you like a cigarette? They respond with, oh, no, I'm really trying not to smoke. I'm trying to quit. And person A is more susceptible and more likely to pick smoking back up again. Now, person B that is less likely and actually follows through with making the habit real when offered a cigarette does not say that, instead says, actually, I don't smoke. And just basically changes their own personal ideation and what they believe about themselves, the idea of themselves and who they are, even if it isn't quite real. Maybe they literally quit smoking 2 hours ago, but they are living within the reality that they do not smoke. And this can be the case for anything in your life. Maybe you want to stop biting your nails. Oh, I don't bite my nails, right? That's something, no, I don't do that. You have to make it something that you literally don't identify with anymore. And changing your own internal story is what is going to give you this brand new start, is the point that I'm getting to here, is you have to create your own identity internally and then put it out there externally, right? You don't need to make it clear or important for other people to know it either. It can just be how you are choosing to identify. Even if somebody else knows you a different way, you don't have to sit and talk to that person. You can be whoever you want to be. It doesn't even have to be this like, oh, I'm trying to be this and it feels false to me. You can make it as real as you want to be, because all that we have, truthfully, is this present moment. The past already happened and the future is yet to be. So all you have is the present moment. And when you get into that, who are you in the present moment? Are you somebody that does X, Y, and Z? Are you this person that's getting into a brand new chapter? Are you this person that's filled with a lot of energy, with a lot of vitality? Are you this person that fulfills their own dreams? Or are you somebody that feels like you always fail to your own systems? And I want to say in that same book, James Clear also talks about how failure isn't real. It is, we fail because our systems are not built to last. So this is also about creating new systems for yourself as you are getting a brand new beginning. And I think this beginning is something that you have been wanting, but you're afraid to believe that it's possible. Maybe you've let yourself down in the past, but Spirit is saying that this time it will be different. And the reason it's going to be different is you have divine guidance. You have divinity on your side. You have this reading. Literally being here right now, you are receiving symbols and synchronicity from divinity. But also, you do have a guidance system, and you are drawn to this reading because your guides want you to be very aware of that they are here to support you. They are here to help you, and you having the awareness of them alone already gets you into alignment with receiving more help. So with divine guidance, it says, whispers from beings who shine, let their messages be clear and kind. It's funny because we were just talking about James Clear. I don't know. And then we got Clear. There's something about you gaining a lot of clarity about the future of your life as well. And you also have confidence. By earth, air, water, and fire, let my confidence take light, burn higher. So, kind of like with what I was saying with rewriting your own story, having your own self ideation and deciding who you want to be, right? Using your own energy and deciding who you want to be in this new chapter of life. It's not about faking it until you make it. It's becoming confident that this is actually who you already are. Like I said, the past already happened, right? We don't need to go back there. And the future has yet to be decided. So who are you in the present moment? And how can you become as confident as possible in the present moment about this new version of yourself that is emerging? What are activities and things that you could do that put you more in alignment? Something else that I always recommend when you are doing something like this is asking yourself the question, what is the next best thing I can do? So maybe right when you wake up in the morning, I actually just talked about this. The podcast isn't out yet, but it will be in the next few weeks, in a podcast episode about self-realizing and like learning yourself better. That in the morning when you wake up, if you're able, ask yourself, what is the first decision that I can make right now that is going to help me to feel my best or help me to be this version of myself? What is the first decision? Is it a cold glass of water? Is it taking your vitamins? Is it going to the bathroom? Is it brushing your teeth? Is it getting on your workout bike? Is it going for a walk? Is it getting dressed, right? Maybe getting out of our sweatpants if that's something that we need. Now, I am also the first person to tell you that I am currently wearing sweatpants and I am sitting and working. So don't take that as a point of shame, that I think everybody needs to be out there getting dressed every day. If that's not your vibe, no, you don't. But if it's going to make you feel like that person, why not try? And then once you've completed the first task, ask the question again. What's the next decision that I could make today? And continue to follow it, because often we will continue to run on autopilot, making these same decisions, continuing these same habits that keep us feeling powerless and stuck in the same cycles when we are not trying new things, when we're not doing something outside of autopilot. And asking yourself that question continuously is a great place to start to get out of autopilot. Now, we also have for you, rediscover your zeal. Pay attention to the passion you are feeling for discovery, learning, exploration, spirituality, travel, your work, or your relationship. Passion and desire go together, especially as inspiration. So this is about rediscovering who you would like to be, rediscovering yourself, rediscovering what you do identify with. And I get the sense that maybe you, pile number 2, have really felt like you've lost that. You're feeling very in this 10 of Swords, very defeated. And Spirit is saying that this is an opportunity for you to start to outline a new version of self. Maybe you actually have accomplished a lot and now you're feeling like, what is even next? You know, I think we don't talk enough about how when you're on top of the world, when you feel like you have actualized and made a ton of things happen, we don't always talk about how crippling that can actually be, because we don't have another future vision for ourselves, because we've actualized everything really quickly, you know, and sometimes that can actually lead to some of our biggest downfalls if we're not ready for it. And this is actually an opportunity for you right now to reinvent yourself, to be new, to be inspired, to come alive again. That's what this is saying. And then we also have change direction with ease. This is a time for change, shape-shifting, or your soul's evolution. It's time to reconsider what you are wanting. You may be in for a surprise. So you're also being asked to sit with yourself a little bit and see what it is that you are really desiring at this time, because it seems to me like your desires recently have shifted in some way. And as that has happened, you haven't let yourself catch up with it. And that's ultimately why you're feeling stuck and powerless and not like you can start something new, is something has changed, but you haven't caught up with it. And it's time for you to actually take some time. I always recommend, just for like practical advice, y'all know me, I'm always going to give you practicality with that mysticality, right? Is mysticality a word? I know mythicality. I think about Good Mythical Morning. But I'm always going to bring you like the mystical perspective, but I'm always going to give you practical things to do as well, because I believe that we can talk all about what spirit is giving us all the time, but if we're not actually grounding that inspiration or those ideas or those things into this reality, what good are they? So something practical I'm always going to suggest to y'all, and I will link it down below for you, is checking out The Artist's Way. This is something that I still to this day churn back to whenever I feel the way that this reading is making me feel. The Artist's Way, I think it's like an 8 or a 12-week program. It's just a book. Like, it's not, you don't have to buy like this huge course or anything. I think it's like $12 on Amazon. It's just a book. And then you just need like a journal to go with it that you can write in. And I'll link my journal, my current journal, down below if you want to journal twin with me. I did get a new one since the last one I showed y'all like a year ago. But I'll link those two things down below with you if you want to check it out for yourself. But it's something that it helps you to self-actualize. It helps you to understand who you are becoming so you can embrace this next chapter, because you haven't caught up yet. Now we also have for you these, before I show them, these last few cards. These are extra numbers that are going to like pop out for you with these signs and synchronicities that you're being given right now. But also these might just be good affirmations to use. They're just like extra messages from spirit and anything else that we need to hear. So we have 0, which I think is so amazing, because 0 is, to me, it can be the ending or the beginning as well. 0 can kind of fit in anywhere. It's like the wild card. And it says, I am a creator, 000, by the way. You are one with the creator, and there are no limits to what you can achieve. You have the ability to create something new and incredible in your lifetime here on earth. Ooh, very powerful for some of y'all. Then we have 666, I am centered, a wake-up call for you to re-examine your current situation and change the direction of your thoughts so you can raise your vibration to a more positive frequency. I am centered. And also, I know a lot of people take issue with the number 666. If you actually look into the history of it, it's not demonic at all. It's actually something like really positive. So I would just encourage you to keep an open mind there. And then we also have number 15, I am wise. Your love for others is powerful, and you are able to spread your gift of support far and wide. Your curious and social nature brings you in contact with a variety of people who would benefit from your warm, heartfelt words of wisdom. So that is what I have for you, pile number 2. Thank you again to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, please do not hesitate. Head over to KhloeTaylor.com. I also recently just restocked a couple of birth charts, which I don't do a lot of those. So if you want to snag one, make sure that you do. And I did a restock on several of my readings. So if you would like to have a personal reading with me one-on-one, definitely head there. That's the only place you can book a reading with me. I do not offer them anywhere else. I will never personally solicit you for a reading, like on Instagram, TikTok, anything like that. There's a ton of scammer accounts going around that are not me, that pose as me. I will never do that to you. You can only ever book through my website, KhloeTaylor.com. I also have a Patreon. For those of you that are not aware, Patreon is honestly one of the most special corners of the internet. We have a book club. We're doing a summer ween this month where we're doing a little wine and paint night together. I'm going to bring y'all a therapeutic painting practice, and we're actually going to get into video call. You don't have to be on video if you don't want to. You can just join and like be in the chat. But if you want to like sit and hang out with me, a little wine, little paint, I'm probably going to not be drinking wine, but you can drink whatever. And I'm going to bring like a painting activity. So If you want to be part of that, definitely come and join the Patreon. You also get weekly energy updates, exclusive pick-a cards, a book club, so much more. Just come over there, be a part of our Patreon. I would love to have you. Link is going to be down below. If you'd like to follow me other places around the web, I do have my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter. I'm at Kloee Taylor on every single platform. And I also, if you would like to, no expectation, of course, if you would like to tip me for my readings, it really does help me out. I'm able to purchase more decks, things like that for the channel, extra lanterns. These lights actually, and this deck, this Mystic Mondays deck, was actually gifted to us from my wish list, which I also have down below for you. My wish list by Kino Tarot here on YouTube actually gifted that to the channel. So thank you so much, Kino. Really appreciate it. And if you would like to tip me, as I was saying, my wish list and a few ways to tip me for readings are down below. My Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal. Again, I don't expect it, but it is certainly appreciated. All links are down below. And please, my beautiful pumpkin, do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Hello there, my beautiful pile number 3. If you chose 333 or the, which one was this one? This was the Confessions of a Rebel Bite Me perfume. And this one had a very nice little description, by the way, and I wanted to just read to you because I feel like the ones that had descriptions like this, I feel like they're also intuitive. So this is just like the card that comes with this. And it says, "You're never one to bite your tongue, but are always one to bite back. Sweet strawberry flirts with red apple, while vanilla orchid and jasmine churn up the heat. Just before people assume you're too sweet, a shot of golden rum checks them immediately with a sassy, ever so timely comeback." So I feel like just the perfume in and of itself, as for what the signs and synchronicities you have been seeing mean, is like, this is about you getting your spark back. And I can see within the cards, the heart of your reading, you have the 6 of Swords. So let's focus on that first, because the 6 of Swords is all about going through an initiatory phase, or you're going through something right now that your soul wants to go through to evolve. And it might not be the easiest, but the signs and synchronicities are here to remind you that that's what this is. If I could give you even any kind of example, if y'all watch my mental health video that I put out, you kind of know, full disclosure, what was going on. But when I moved to Washington State last year, from Utah, that's where I came from, to Washington State, I was very, 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 very anxious about that move, like extreme anxiety. I was in the middle of having a lot of panic attacks as well. And I bring this up to you because I remember saying to my spiritual team before that move, I was like, hey, I'm choosing 4-4, which I know you have 3-3-3, but I'm choosing 4-4 as my number 44. Can you show this number to me along my journey, which it was like a day's drive with a moving truck and such? Can you show this number to me so that I can know that I'm on the right path? And when I tell you, every single car that I passed on that journey had a 4-4 in its license plate, I am not joking. Sometimes, like, if there was like a diesel truck or something, there would also be their truck would be like number 44, or it'd be like the 44th exit. And it was always like, it would always catch my eye when I wasn't looking for it. So I feel like for you, this is a very similar thing. What you're going through right now, it's expanding you in a new way, and you are meant to trust this unfolding that's happening. Because we also have the 5 of Swords and the 7 of Wands, and these two cards to me are very inflammatory. I hate to be the bearer of, it's not, I wouldn't say it's even bad news, because there is some good news too, but it's you having to protect yourself, protect who you are. And something that Spirit wants me to tell you right now, pile number 3, is that you don't need to, people don't need to understand you. Like, it would be nice. Yes, of course. All of us, I think it's human to want people to understand us, but nobody needs to understand where you're going or where you're headed right now. That's for you to know and for you to unfold. Because I do see that there is maybe a lot of drama or conflict, or you feeling like you have to explain yourself, or just go head to head with other people about the journey that you're on right now, be it spiritual or otherwise. And Spirit is saying that this journey is for you. You don't have to hold that sword. If people are already committed to misunderstanding you, they're not necessarily just going to start. And it's way better for you to not waste your energy trying to make yourself fit into a box for somebody else. Does that make sense? And then, like I said, there was some good news here too, and we have plenty more cards coming. But I do also see that you have the Queen of Pentacles and the Fool. And both of these cards I personally really enjoy. I feel like the Fool says that once you get through this initiation phase, you're going to start seeing and feeling more freedom, because the Fool to me is, number one, it's the wild card. It is literally 0 in the tarot. It's the wild card. And it can fit in anywhere. You know, we might have a natural progression of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, which is what these cards are, if you're unfamiliar. But the Fool can fit in anywhere. It's not really part of a natural progression necessarily. The Fool can come in at any point in the journey, and it's a little bit more wild, a little more carefree, a little bit more open to just whatever comes. And the Queen of Pentacles, this is about nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself along that same journey, right? Literally like mothering yourself. I feel like the Queen of Pentacles, especially in this deck, because she's literally holding the moon, it's very motherly in nature. It's very you learning to nurture and mother yourself while letting yourself expand in new ways. And that is, every time you're seeing this sign or this symbol, it's happening because you are meant to be made aware that you are at a transition point in life. And your road is not going to be for everybody else. You are meant to beat to the sound of your own drum and meant to care for yourself along this process. So we also have for you debilitated discomfort. I knew this was going to come out in this reading, because the Six of Swords is not a comfortable card. Okay, it's not like, we don't enjoy the initiation. All we can do is surrender to it. It's usually difficult. It's a difficult journey. And having it paired with these other inflammatory cards, it can feel uncomfortable. So again, these signs are coming to you to help you remember that, like, your spiritual team is here to offer you comfort. You don't have to be going through this all by yourself. We also have Sun, Source, and North Node, Future. See? Oh my gosh, and look, there's the moon cycles here, and then you have the sun. So this is, you're also being reminded that Source is all around you, that Spirit is all around you, that the universe is all around you, right? You are not by yourself. You have full divine support in the journey that you're on right now. And also, future you is going to be so grateful that you went through this experience, because you're going to get something from it. You're not going through all of this for nothing, basically. Like, you're not going through this just to come out the other side a mess. You're going through this experience because it's giving you something grander for your future. And the signs are here to remind you that. You also have the card of consciousness and protection. So you're also seeing signs and synchronicity right now, even if it's not 333 specifically. Any synchronicity you're seeing is also a protection over you. Some of you, I don't know if every single one of you have a close relationship with your mother, but even if you don't, like, your mother definitely prays over you. And I don't say that in like I don't say that in a context of, you know, oh, your mother prays for you because like you're doing things that she disapproves of. It's it's literally like, I want to say in most religions throughout history, like mother's prayers are significant. They mean more. I want to say even Leor Alexandra, if y'all are familiar, she was talking about that when you make like, because she is Jewish, and when the women, which often are mothers, make the bread for the family, they like pray into the bread. And I feel like this is also the same with like mother's prayers in general, that I'm trying to present this in the best way possible, because I understand that there are people here that like religion is a very triggering topic, and I get that. I come from a very religious background myself that I don't identify with anymore, and it can be very triggering. I'm trying to articulate this as best as possible, because I'm not trying to trigger any of you that like don't want anything to do with religion, because I'm not trying to, the message from Spirit is not a religious message. It's that literally having another human or another soul pray over you, those mean something. Those are protective in nature. And having even the souls of your ancestors present for those protective prayers, it does work. It does cast protection over you. And I just got the chills. Some of y'all, your ancestors also come through in these signs and synchronicities that you're being given. And I don't know why that message had to come through in particular, but just something about this card coming out over the moon, the mother aspect of that Queen of Pentacles. I heard mother's prayers. Any of you that are new here maybe don't know, I'm clairaudient. I hear things sometimes. Like that's a lot of the times how my psychic gift presents, is in hearing, and mother's prayers just like came through very strongly. So again, not in like a religious fashion. Try to remove that aspect if that's something that is triggering. That's not what Spirit is trying to convey. It's that there is another soul literally physically here in a human body that casts protection over you. And your ancestors play a role in that. And these signs often also come from your ancestors. And then with consciousness, your consciousness is also rising. And honestly, anybody who sees signs, synchronicities, angel numbers, things like that, you should already know that your consciousness is rising if you're seeing things like that, because there are plenty of people in the world that live life completely on autopilot that don't notice any of those things. So the fact that you're even noticing should impress to you that your consciousness is rising, your frequency is rising. And this is another sign of that. Just in general, like no matter what pile you picked, like anybody that is at this reading period, your consciousness has risen to the point that you're noticing these things. And that's something to be celebrated. Now, we also have for you the card of fertility, and it says, let all take root, seed and sprout, let new life be all about. And I don't believe that this is about literal fertility, like actually getting pregnant, giving birth. This is more about having fertility of the mind, having fertility in life, having abundance, having the ability to bring forth new. Because some of you with this Six of Swords, you've been really in like a dark period or a dark point in life. And there's actually new growth that is being born from this. Remember that when a seed sprouts, it has to crack completely open. And I think there's a famous quote that talks about how when the seed cracks open, to some, this will look like destruction. But the plant or the sunflower knows that this is just how we bloom. Like the seed has to crack all the way open under the dark soil in order for it to come up to the sunlight and bloom. I just got the chills again. Your reading is just very connected to Spirit. Not to say that anybody's reading isn't, but I feel like getting the chills like a number of times. Like it's just very... I don't know. It feels nice. But with fertility coming out, the signs that you're receiving, the point to that is that it is that you are making way for new in life. And this is something that I feel like you have really wanted. You've been stuck for a while. And we also have the card of joy for you. Also, number 16 and 37. These may be significant to you. But with joy, it says, as I do will, so mote it be. Let joy and light radiate from me. So with joy, this is a reminder as you see these signs and synchronicities that joy is returning to your life. Again, you've maybe been going through some ish right now, and Spirit wants you to know that the bright and joyful times are returning. And oh, you know what else? I'm sorry. Spirit also just reminded me that the number 3, because we were talking about like the mother, right? The number 3 also refers to the triple goddess, and that's the maiden, the mother, the crone. So there's definitely a lot of like feminine energy to this reading, and that doesn't mean that you have to identify as female. There is just a feminine energy. Like maybe there is an ancestor that you relate to that sends you these messages. That is female, or like a grandmother almost, or even a mother that has passed. But sorry. Anyways, getting sidetracked. The joy card is here to remind you that happier days are coming, or that like they can also be a great symbol. Spirit is saying that they're also a great symbol to remember when you see this synchronicity. Remind yourself of something that you are grateful for, even if it's as simple as a pumpkin or the autumn time or nail polish or perfume, whatever that is for you. It's a sign to remember to be grateful and to know that the joy is returning. And the more that you bring that positive energy into your life. Now, I always want to say when I talk about positive energy, I always feel like it's really important to note that I'm never talking about toxic positivity. I think that we always need to feel through what we're going through, get the tools and the help that we need, and not just slap a happy affirmation over our life and expect that to make everything better. Because for some people, that frankly will just not work. And so I never want to give you the impression that we stand for that here on this channel. But the important part is that when you are open to receiving these signs, which you already are, if you chose this, because you've already been seeing them, when you're open to receiving those signs, you're also open to letting more joy and light into your life where it has been previously a little chaotic, maybe a little dark. Now, we also have for you a polite declaration, which says you can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals. It's time for you to get out there, claim what is yours, and stay in your power. So if you felt very powerless by this situation, Spirit is also saying that now is your time to rise. You are currently in the process of rising. And I also want to point out that this 7 of Wands back here, it's not just about defending yourself to people or needing to be understood. It's also about having a position of personal power, and you'll defend it with everything. Nobody else is going to take that personal power away from you. And it's time to declare it. We also have setting up parameters. Assess your relationships and determine how they are aligned with your goals. Setting boundaries requires an honest evolution of your present relationships. So with going through this, there's also a lot of green here. There might be something about like your heart chakra being healed, because green does correspond to that heart chakra. But with going through this journey that you've been going through and seeing signs along the journey, maybe that's something that's really hard for you, is setting boundaries with others, especially when it comes to family or people that you're really close to. And Spirit is saying that these are also reminders. Maybe in the moment you're feeling stressed about something, and that is what you're actually needing, is a boundary to be set with someone else. And please, please, please know that it is always okay for you to set a boundary. People that get offended by your boundaries were benefiting from you not having them. And on top of that, when you actually set the boundary down, sometimes you will have to reinstate it. People are getting used to them. But on top of that, you're not a bad person for needing a boundary to keep having a relationship with someone. I feel like that's what oftentimes a lot of people will forget when you're laying down these boundaries, because you're in a new phase of your life where you're discovering new parts of yourself that require something different of yourself and of others that you're in relation with. People forget that boundaries are actually an act of love to keep someone in your life that you don't want to let go of. Even though the person on the receiving end of the boundary, it feels like maybe they're being pushed out, you're actually trying to keep them. You're doing them a favor by saying, hey, I love you, I care about you, I want you in my life, but this is what I need so I can safely keep you in my life. So just remember that if you feel like your boundaries are being challenged, especially with that Seven of Wands. Now we have just a few final cards that these are some extra numbers, and you did get another 3. That's funny. I'll show you in a moment. These are just a few final numbers that you may also see along your journey right now that are important, and just some extra messages from Spirit at this time. So we have 30, which says you are an original, innovative thinker and an excellent communicator. You have a great talent for using creativity to convey your ideas, and your optimistic attitude has an uplifting effect on others. I am imaginative. So there's that other 3, lots of 3s for you. We have number 9, which says, it's your compassion that makes you shine. You are devoted to helping and excuse me, helping the greater good and having a strong talent for speaking up for others. Your soul is most satisfied when you are being of service. I am compassionate. And then we have 29. You are highly intuitive and creative. Your mind thinks in figures, and you seem to draw information and ideas from out of the sky. A powerful drive to know the oneness of all things. I am insightful. So that is what I have for you, pile number 3. This is what is going on with the signs, the synchronicities, and what Spirit was really wanting you to know right now. Thank you so much to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check them out down below. If you would like more content from me, my beautiful pumpkins, please head over to the Patreon. We have a book club. You get extra pick of cards, weekly energy check-ins with tarot cards as well. This month, we're also doing a summer ween event on the 31st of July, where we are actually having like a Zoom type call together. I don't know if it's going to be hosted on Zoom or not yet, but it's going to be like, we're actually going to be talking, and you can choose to use video camera if you want to. We are going to be painting together. I'm actually bringing an activity for it. You can choose to draw, paint, or just show up and hang out. You don't have to do art, but it's going to be like an activity for mental health is my goal with it. And we're going to be sharing some drinks. I do have a recipe that I'll be sharing if anybody wants to make their own cocktail. I will be doing a mocktail for myself, but I'm actually really excited about this event, and there's going to be more information on the Patreon about it as it gets closer. So make sure that you are part of the Patreon at the Cosmic Pumpkin tier if you want to be a part of that. It's going to be really fun. I'm super stoked about it. That's why I'm spending so much time talking about it. If you would like to book me for a personal reading, I do have readings up on my website right now. I also just restocked some birth charts, which I haven't stocked in quite some time, and I don't know when I'll be stocking them again. So definitely make sure you snag one while you can. But that is the only place you can buy a reading from me, is at KhloeTaylor.com. I will never personally solicit you for a reading. So if you ever see that on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere other than right here, please know that that is a scam, and that is somebody that is not me. I will never personally solicit you like that. You can only book through my website, KhloeTaylor.com. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor, on Twitter as well, at Kloee Taylor. And if you would like to, there is never an expectation, but it is always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. You can tip me for my readings if this helped you in some way. Again, I do not expect it. And I also have my wish list down there if you'd like to check it out. These cards up here, these Mystic Monday ones, and these lights actually came from the amazing Queen Kino herself. herself, Kino Tarot, actually sent those to us. So thank you so much, Kino, for making our video more magical today. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you again next time. Bye. Hello there, my beautiful pile number 4, and welcome into your reading. So if you chose the 1, 2, 3, 4, or the purple container here, which is also the Cypress in Oak, excuse me, it is by Sense of Wood, but from Scent Bird. This is going to be your reading on what are the signs and synchronicities trying to tell you. So I think it's really awesome, first of all, that you have a ridiculous amount of court cards. Look at this. You have the Princess of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Five of Cups. So the signs and synchronicities in your life right now, I'm really feeling like they are asking you to evaluate your relationships right now and if they are serving you. Because if you are the Princess of Cups, which this is not a gendered thing, if you are the Princess of Cups, which is like the Page of Cups, you are somebody that maybe is a little bit more hopeful, dreamy, wishful. You do expect good things from your journey. You romanticize life. I do feel like there's a lot of people around you that can support that can like be in that feel good energy with you. Sorry if I keep shaking the camera. My chair keeps hitting the desk. There we go. There is definitely people around you that can facilitate and support that. I'm feeling like you've lost your fire for a little bit. You've been struggling in this Five of Cups, and Spirit is reminding you that you need to connect with these people in your life that actually are here to help support you, love you, and help breathe life back into you. You were not meant to do life by yourself. And on top of that, you don't need to wait until you are this like perfect version of yourself before you can emerge and be loved. You know, I know there is that saying of like, how can anybody ever love you if you don't love yourself? And hear me out for a second. Though I think the intention behind those words is very pure, in the sense that, yes, of course, love yourself so you don't ever settle for less than you deserve. However, sometimes you need to let people love you into loving yourself. Sometimes you don't know how to come to this place of loving yourself a little bit more when you've lost your glamour, lost your magic, feel like you've stepped away from feeling empowered. It's hard sometimes to come back from that if you've lost it. And you might feel like you have to fix it so people can be enamored with you again, or like you again, or want to be in your presence again. But ultimately, it is part of your soul's evolution right now, Spirit is saying through these signs and synchronicities, to let people see you be messy. Let people see your heart all over the place. Let people see what is going on internally, because a lot of them are going to have guidance for you on how to navigate this time, navigate what you're experiencing. And you need them. You need these people. So take stock. If there's anybody in your life that you don't feel good going to, actually ask yourself, is it them, or is it that I'm not willing to be seen this way? Is it this person's actually not good for me, my soul doesn't like it? Maybe you have bad feelings in your gut when you're around them. Then remove that person or take some space. But I do get the sense that there's actually a lot of very supportive people around you, possibly even mother or father-like figures that are very emotionally intelligent. Maybe even a significant other as well, or somebody that really does have your best interests at heart. To me, it's like a significant other plus family is really what I'm getting here. And this sign is to let people in. That's what you're being given. Now, I have some exciting news for some of y'all that the signs that you receive are also about increasing your abundance specifically, because you do have the card of Jupiter, and Jupiter literally is daddy abundance, daddy expansion, daddy abundance. We love Jupiter. Jupiter is the vibe. Jupiter is also currently transiting Aries right now, so a lot of things are moving kind of quickly. Oh, look, this Jupiter has a pumpkin on it. Cute. We also have progressions, journey, and Neptune vision. So we're also currently, I mean, this reading is of course timeless, but we are also currently in a Neptune retrograde, I believe, right now. I want to say that that is true. Or is it maybe Neptune moved? Something's going on with Neptune right now. I apologize that I don't have the charts in front of me right now. I want to say Neptune's in retrograde right now. But that is beside the point. The point is that you do have abundance. The signs are to remind you that your abundance is increasing. And this can be an abundance of love from these people, an abundance of money, an abundance of having your awareness open to new ways of being, to your journey actually finally progressing. I feel like you've been kind of stuck. I feel like almost every reading today, y'all have been feeling a little stuck lately. And you maybe have had to take a little break from scaling the mountain that you've been scaling. And, you know, we have these mountains here in Journey, right? You might have to take a little break to catch your breath, drink a little water, get used to yourself before you can continue. But Spirit is saying that when you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, Spirit is saying that this is a sign to continue the climb, continue the progression, keep going, because the grander vision for yourself is coming. Now, we also have passion, and we also have the card of happiness. So this is what is returning to your life, the feelings of passion. I always talk about this in the sense of like, you reach out and touch life, and life actually feels like it touches you back. Sometimes we lose this in different periods of our life, but you're actually coming to a point where you're rediscovering this. You're rediscovering the things that you love. You're being passionate about things again. Happiness, if you feel like it's been drained or taken from you, is returning. And I'm getting a lot of like return energy from this reading in general. Now oh my gosh, look at this. You have a secondary abundance card. So you also have another abundance card. Literally, I think y'all really are getting paid. When you see this 1, 2, 3, 4, this is a sign that your finances are about to increase, Spirit is saying. We have Goddess of Abundance Divine, let me thrive, let fortune be mine. So if you've been stressing about money or feeling empty about money, Spirit is here to remind you that this is not going to be the case much longer, that your abundance is about to start flowing in. And maybe even like today, if you've been seeing the synchronicity of like numbers increasing. We also have the card of grace, which says, grace, blessing, come to me to set me free. And this is about giving. Oh, look, you have a 2 and a 2, 22. This is also about giving yourself grace, giving yourself permission to just accept what you're going through right now. Accept where you are and know that it is okay to start again. It is okay to start something new. It is okay to rediscover your happiness, rediscover your passion, even if it doesn't look the way that it used to look for you before. It's okay to connect with a new vision for your life as well. Again, because I'm getting this energy of stuckness once again. Many of you just need to feel like you have the permission to start anew, to try something different. And Spirit is ultimately saying that you have the ability now to go in a new direction, to do something different, to be open to being supported by the universe, but also to being held abundantly. And reconnect with these things, because I really get the sense that, again, they've been missing for a little while, but give yourself a little bit of grace. You know, what you've been going through isn't easy, and it's okay if you need to be gentle and take time with yourself to come back to what brings you joy, happiness, and to, you know, sometimes when we step out of our empowerment, we also feel like we lose abundance. And Spirit is reminding you that abundance is all around you all the time. Even if we look out into nature, right? Nature is just always doing her thing. The leaves are always sprouting, unless it's like winter and then they're not, but spring always comes again. The abundance always flows again. You will be empowered again. Now, we also have resilience, which says there's no need to rush or push. This is a time to take things as they come. You have the determination and patience to handle what is happening. So if you've been feeling like everything has just been a little too much for you lately, which again, I get the sense that you've been really ruminating in your feels. If this isn't people, all of this, you got every single card is a cup card. And cups literally are your emotions, how you are feeling. So Spirit is reminding you that you are emotionally resilient, and you will bounce back. You will come back to a place of equilibrium again. That it's okay to take things one day at a time as you're rediscovering, as you are getting ready to gear up to continue to climb the mountain of where you're headed. It's okay to take it easy, to go slow, and know that you are gaining resiliency in the process. We also have looking at the underbelly. Be sure that you are using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider taking time to organize yourself, or perhaps a project you're working on could use some fine tuning. So as you are slowing down maybe a little bit right now, even if it's something you don't want to do, it's actually really good that you are, because wherever you are in resistance to growth, to change, to moving forward, if you stop and assess the resistance or the pain or the sorrow or whatever it is that you've been hiding from, the faster you are actually going to project forward. This is true of anything across the board that you are dealing with. When you stop to address the resistance, you actually are able to move forward so much faster. And often we will spend our entire lives running away from what we are in resistance to. But that's really the trick, is letting go of the resistance and just letting yourself be where you are in your emotions, possibly emotional turmoil, and knowing that the light will come again. You will see a light at the end of this tunnel. You will see the pathway out of the deep, dark forest. It's just going to take a little bit more time. And there are blessings that are coming to you along this pathway. This isn't just you're meant to be stuck out here in the dark by yourself. You always have the opportunity to, again, speak to people, speak to your guidance system. You always have the opportunity to connect. And please know, if your mind has been telling you that this is what you will experience forever and ever, and you are not feeling your best, please know that that's not true. Please know that your mind will literally lie to you about, like, oh, I'll never feel happy or joy or passionate about anything ever again. Did you know that you haven't even met every single person in your life who will love you yet? Doesn't that just blow your mind? Like, there is so much more to experience. And every day is an opportunity to decide that you want to experience. And Spirit is here to remind you that through these signs and synchronicities, not only are you being communicated with, that there is a force that beckons you, that also is there to support, love, and honor you. But there is a force that is giving you these messages on purpose so that you can be reminded that you're not alone. And that you don't have to just always be stuck in this, I almost want to say, like, this spiral of emotions all the time. Because I'm getting that with a lot of this as well, that you feel like you've been stuck on this spiral, but there are, again, brighter days ahead. and more abundance ahead as well. So give yourself the grace to take it one day at a time and to just keep looking out for those signs. So I do have a few more cards from Spirit. These are just some numbers to pay attention to, as well as just some extra numbers from Spirit. It's crazy to me that we got 2-2 because you also have 22, which says you are in possession of incredible creative powers, and it is assured that you can achieve anything you wish. I am aligned. So if there's anything that you have been desiring for yourself right now, or even if it's just feeling good, it doesn't have to be the Louis Vuitton or the vacation house in the Hamptons. It can literally just be the intention to feel good again, to feel passionate about something. I think when we think about the realm of manifesting, often people get stuck in the material things. And the funny thing is that once you start to manifest the material things, you'll actually realize that those things really don't matter. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't manifest them. I'm not trying to shame anybody. I think that those things are great and they will come as a result over time. But it's actually the way that the rain falls that is the big thing. It's actually the way that, your partner looks deeply into your eyes and tells you how much they love you that matters. It's the way that the birds chirp in the morning. It's the way that candle flames move. That is the stuff that is made of magic and mysticism and beauty. It's not about all of the things that you can attract to you. And I think people also forget about themselves sometimes in the process. And I'm telling you this because maybe you've forgotten about yourself in the process. That I want to say it's Rebecca Campbell says that your soul had a dream and your human life is it. And you came here to be the master of your own energy. But in doing that, it's okay to want to manifest the feelings of fulfillment, to manifest the feelings of contentment, of wholeness, of love. Don't forget about yourself when you're out there on the grind, trying to get your abundance, trying to get things, trying to be passionate and feel, happiness is great. I feel like that's a good one to put in there for yourself. But it's okay to want to manifest good feelings for yourself, positive emotions for yourself. Don't forget about yourself in the process. Now, we also have for you number 24, which says, you have a heart of gold and you are very skilled at maintaining balanced, stable relationships. See, I knew relationships were coming through. You are loyal to your loved ones and you are able to be the nurturer, protector, and provider all at once. I am generous. So Spirit's also sending you abundance in the form of your abundance, like going up, because you are so generous, because you are willing to give. You are willing to not just like hoard any financial means or things that come your way. You're always willing to give. And then we also have 13, which I know traditionally, not traditionally, actually, quite non-traditionally. There is this thing in society where people think the number 13 is very unlucky. It's actually on the contrary. 13 is the witch's number, and it's actually a very lucky number. So congratulations, 13 is a great number. But it says, you are a conscientious worker with a knack for coming up with creative ideas and turning them into something real. An optimistic but practical outlook keeps you determined and on track as you work steadily towards your goals. I am confident. So this is you literally bringing back your own personal alignment, the feelings of alignment, and being confident that you can work your way up this mountain, work your way through the emotional turmoil that you've been feeling, letting yourself be loved into being. And, don't lose your generosity along the way, because good things are coming. You are receiving an increase very soon. And Spirit really wants you to be aware that, don't lose your generosity in that. Now, that is all that I have for you, pile number 4. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. And if you would like to, y'all, please check out my Patreon. This month we are doing Summer Ween on the 31st, which I will be doing basically like a Zoom call with y'all. If you want to like join in video, you don't have to, but we are going to be painting together, having cocktails or mocktails. And I'm bringing like a mental health painting activity. You can choose to paint, draw, do whatever, just sit and talk. Make sure that you join at the Cosmic Pumpkin tier for that event that will be happening on the 31st of July. I'm really looking forward to that community night. It should be really fun, but there's so much more than that on the Patreon. You get a backstock of pick-a-cards that you can't get anywhere else, weekly energy updates with tarot that I put out every single week. I've literally never missed a week, and our Patreon is over a year old, and I have never once missed a week. So fabulous. You can actually go back if you join and look at past weeks, what was going on. We have card of the month. We have the community nights. We're opening a Discord. We have a book club. There's all kinds of good stuff on the Patreon. I really hope you'll come and be a part of it. And when you do become a patron, you actually unlock everything I've ever posted there. So definitely come and check it out. Link is going to be down below. I also have the ability for you to book a private reading with me. If you would like me to read for you privately, you can book those on my website, KloeeTaylor.com. That is the only place you can book a reading with me. I will never solicit you on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. There are so many scammer accounts doing this nonsense. It's happening to a ton of tarot card readers. Please know, if you ever see somebody doing this, it's not me. It is a scam account. They will literally clone my account and then just make their username some weird variation of mine. That's not me. Those are people that literally will take your money and run. So not me. You can only book through my website. You heard it here, folks. It's KloeeTaylor.com. I do have birth charts available right now as well, which I don't know when I'll be restocking those. So definitely make sure you snag them while you can. And if you would like to and feel called to, no expectation, but always appreciated. If you would like to tip me for my readings, I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below for you. And I also have my wish list for those of y'all that ask for it. So again, no expectation there, but it is certainly appreciated. This deck up here, this Mystic Mondays deck, as well as these lights, actually came from our friend Kino Tarot. Sent those to us. So thank you so much, Kino. I really appreciate it. Thank you for making our reading more magical. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. I will talk to you in the next one. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you again next time. Bye.